Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now I had a really interesting healing for someone today who has a lot of the issues that come along with having diabetes. And this particular client had diabetes for a wee while, was on insulin, but also the issues of diabetes that come along with diabetes, such as neuropathy. And losing your eyesight and degeneration of the eyes in particular. And what they all had in common is obviously the circulation is not what it used to be, right? The peripheries are losing their circulation, and all of a sudden you're having all these issues of neuropathy and issues in regards to your toes, your feet, hands, and so on. And obviously the little capillaries, blood flow to your eyes, right? The retinas and so on that become a really big problem. And the common thing that from a modern medicine or science perspective is that circulation is vital for there's a problem with circulation in regards to diabetes and cardiovascular system issues always are in line with people that have diabetes, right? So all of a sudden, immediately in regards to this particular situation, but this is for a lot of people, I'm just talking about cardiovascular system in the blood. And I've got another video, I'll do a quick plug, another video in regards to the importance of what the heart really is in the cardiovascular system. Check that video out on my channel. Is the fact that the cardiovascular system, once we found all this information for this particular client, that circulation was the underlying thing of all these issues, and all of a sudden circulation's a problem because of blood coagulation of the blood, the viscosity of the blood, so it's thick, and then all of a sudden the cardiovascular system has an issue with high blood pressure and all these sorts of things, right? So my next question was for this client, what medications are you on? So straight away he says that he's on medications for high blood pressure and has been for a very long time. And I bet you there's a lot of people like that out there that have been on medications to lower your high blood pressure and been on them for a very long time. Some people decades. Okay? And for some of these medications, they weaken the heart over time. Because again, the root cause of that issue of why you have high blood pressure is not being resolved. Okay? So, other medications he had was for obviously lowering high blood pressure, a blood thinner, again, so talking about viscosity and coagulation of the blood. And he was on a cholesterol lowering medication as well, on a thyroid medication as well. And that is due, thyroid usually plays up if it's inflamed. Again, inflamed blood is thick blood. So we could paint a picture just by the medications he was on. But so obviously the focus was on why was there a circulation problem there, okay? And I guess, again, from a science medical point of view, we'll be thinking circulation is a problem because the body's not getting enough nutrients or oxygen from blood to certain areas. So obviously when we go to the peripheries, the vessels, the blood vessels are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's very hard for, if the blood's thick, to get to certain areas of the peripheries, and they shut down and they degenerate. So we get problems like neuropathy and also issues with the retinas and blood flow to the eyes. So it was making a lot of sense, right, in regards to the medications he was on, the symptoms of the issues that he's now getting, and what we were finding in regards to the system, okay? And the thing about this system here, true quantum healing at Truly Holistic, is that we look at the root causes. It's not about just giving you a supplemental medication to work on symptoms. We're going to get right to the nitty and gritty of what is causing your problem. Okay, and like I talk about in the other video on my channel regards the importance of what the role of the heart is in the cardiovascular system, is it's not really the core of. It's not really about oxygen and about nutrients to areas. It's about the energy getting there. Because nutrients is just energy. Different vibration and frequencies of energy. Okay, and we just label them with names, right? All these different nutrients, different minerals, elements, and so on. But it's essentially getting energy to an area, okay? Because if we have a blockage of flow, and I think that's the key word, is flow of energy to an area, then what happens in the physical level of things break down and they degenerate, okay? So what was happening here is there was a flow problem of energy which originates from the heart. And the thing about the heart, and a lot of people will go, what about the brain? What the importance of the brain? But the brain needs blood flow for it to work, right? Everything needs blood flow. The thing about the heart and the cardiovascular system is blood is needed everywhere. Otherwise, things just do not support themselves, right? So the center of the cardiovascular system is the heart, okay? The entire physical heart. Okay, and the physical heart, like we talked about in the other video, we're not going to get it into a huge depth because you just go back and watch that one. But that entire heart, behind the physical entire heart, which the energy that goes into manifesting the physical heart, is the mechanism, it's like a portal gateway of allowing that vortexing flow of energy through to you, to this vessel here. Okay, and the geometry of flow is the vortex. Okay, so what was happening is, like for a majority of people that get high blood pressure, is when our consciousness, and this is where it comes into energy, when our consciousness is not sitting in the heart space but it's sitting up in the mind, that gets shut off, and that flow of energy, okay, is completely stopped into that heart. The heart gets affected, and then it gets affected in regards to your blood. The blood thickens as a result. Okay? What's the common question that when you go and see your GP or go and see your doctor and they test your blood pressure and your blood pressure's high, right? The thing they ask is, are you stressed out? Okay? Because that is a sign of stress, having high blood pressure. Okay? Now, where our consciousness lies, whether it's the heart or the mind, can be the difference between us having high blood pressure or not. Okay? And that's as simple as that. Okay? Because if our consciousness is with the mind and it's being drawn upon a focus out there in the external world, okay, and your energy facilitates to where your focus goes and your intent, and all your decision making gets affected by this, then you can get stressed out because your perception of reality is that things are just overwhelming and stressed out for you. But if we bring that focus and your power, your energy, your creation, your manifestating capability, energy and power back into that heart space by being in the now, being in the moment, and controlling where you place your focus and how you use your intent. So therefore, the choices that you make, and it stays here, then that stays open. And that flow of energy, that vortex, that portal remains open and facilitates that vortex through the heart, because the heart's not just a pump, it's the center of that vortexing action that goes through your entire cardiovascular system, your blood, which channels that vortex flow of energy throughout the body and where it's required. Okay? So therefore, you're always having that energy that's going to create regenerative qualities, not degenerative qualities. Okay? So in this example with this particular client, is that years ago was put on a high blood pressure medication, okay, and has been on it ever since. The original cause of his problem was never resolved. It wasn't even looked at, okay? Because to resolve the problem, we must step outside of the box and think about the bigger picture of things here, okay? So when we hear people talking about, you got to be in the flow of life, you got to go with the flow, it's so important. We have to go with the flow, because if we create resistance of going with the flow, okay, or we throw our consciousness out into the circus or the mayhem of what we call the external world, then that is going to reflect and manifest into the flow mechanisms of this physical body, including the blood and the cardiovascular system. Not only that, but also the lymphatic system, the digestive system. So flow is everything. Energy is about, we need energy flow, because if energy blocks or it ceases to flow, that manifests into the physical body. Degeneration, we break down. All the degenerative diseases and illnesses that we have today are all originating in the energy body of you, okay? So we did some really powerful clearings in this particular session, and I felt it so strong. I could feel his heart. I could feel his heart within mine, okay? And we had to remove all the other things that come with, coagulation problems, thick blood, clots, okay? Blood clots, okay? So if you're somebody out there that think, hey, I'm going to be okay, I'm on high blood pressure medication, I'm taking blood thinners, I'm safe, I'm sorry, but you're not. Okay, because what that's doing is blocking the mechanisms of communication to you to tell you what's wrong, okay, which we call symptoms. Okay, so, if you have a blood, okay, let's just say a lot of the times when somebody has to be put on a blood thinner, it's normally because, they go by the tests of cholesterol being high. They go by you having high blood pressure, all little factors that increase your risk of having an event, which we call like having a heart attack, right? A myocardial infarction, okay, which they call is part of your heart muscle dying. It's death of the heart muscle, okay, and because it didn't have the oxygen to the heart, the nutrients to the heart, which really we can just say is energy, okay, weakened, and all of a sudden part of that heart is now dead, okay, and part of the function of the heart can no longer do what it used to do. Here, with working with energy, we can obviously help that. Modern medicine has no answer to that, okay? So essentially, my big thing here is that we can't rely on medications because, again, we're just removing the communication of the body trying to tell you something's wrong. It's not removing the problem, okay? So please check out that other video if you haven't, in regards to I think it's a few videos back, not that long ago, in regards to what the heart really is, okay? And the purpose of the heart and purpose of the cardiovascular system. I talk about this flow phenomena, how important it is, and the vortex flow, and talking about certain energies that enable that and where we get into trouble, and maybe debunking some of what are the standard ways that we think of what the heart really does and what the cardiovascular system does. Because I tell you, if with the current understandings of what the heart is and what the cardiovascular system is now, if we have solved that solution or that problem, why is it still such an epidemic of heart attacks, heart disease, people having high blood pressure, all these issues, okay? Now, this vortexing flow problem also creates the problem of cholesterol being where it shouldn't be, okay? And again, I've done videos on cholesterol too, and check them out. Because cholesterol is needed in the body. So taking medications that lower or deplete your cholesterol producing capabilities and using it is, again, not smart, okay? Cholesterol is needed for the body, okay? It's needed for you to be vital, okay? Now, cholesterol, I like to use an analogy of like, okay, you've got a Ferrari, okay? Late at night, are you going to leave the Ferrari outside, okay? Or are you going to park it in the garage and keep it safe, okay? Now, your HDL, your high-density lipoproteins, is that good cholesterol, right? It's when that Ferrari is parked up in the garage, right? It's where it needs to be, okay? LDL, low-density lipoprotein, is deemed the bad cholesterol, but it's not really the bad cholesterol. It's the cholesterol that it decided, hey, I'm not going to park up in the garage. I'm going to be out roaming around when I shouldn't be, okay? Now, it's not doing that because it's the bad guy and deciding, hey, I want to do this and create problems. It's doing that because the body's sending it somewhere. So we need to understand the reason why it's being sent there, okay? And a lot of the times, cholesterol is being sent into an artery to patch up damage, not to create a problem, to patch up damage. And usually why people get a heart attack or get a problem due to cholesterol being in the artery is because they didn't listen to their body. The cause, the root problem, was never resolved, and hence the initiator of the damage to the arterial wall was never resolved, and the body and its intelligence keeps sending cholesterol to patch the problem up until it occludes the artery, so therefore that vortexing flow of blood that at this point is thickened and diminished can no longer get to the heart, and you have a heart attack. Okay? Exactly the same with blood pressure. High blood pressure is the intelligence of the body. It's when the blood becomes thick, it loses its vortexing quality of the red blood cell and the blood and the flow of the red blood cell and blood. And with its intelligence, because the blood's thicker, it needs to push the blood harder to get around the body to keep surviving. So it's the intelligence of the body having high blood pressure. Again, the question that we need to ask, why is the body having to do it? Okay, here at Truly Holistic, we ask these questions, and we not only ask these questions, we get them answered. Okay, and I can empower you with the knowledge of how to go about a life where you do not have to have high blood pressure, you do not have to have these problems. Okay, and we can resolve them here within a session, but also empower you with the knowledge of learning where to place your consciousness, to keep that consciousness into the heart, and that heart-centered place instead of the mind, and letting it run off with your power, your creative capabilities. And all what happens to you is it sabotages you. You end up getting stressed, you becoming fearful, which then you are at the center of manifesting the problems that you have in your life. Let's switch it around. Let's be empowered with the knowledge of you using your creative capability to the greatest heights you can do it. Anyway, if you're interested in booking an appointment, go to trulyholistic.net and you can book your own appointment anywhere in the world. We do work with all people in all countries all around the world, and we get results. Okay? And I tell you, this is the medicine, this is the solution for the future for everybody, is getting to the root causes, which is us being an energy. We're an energy being at the core of us. So let's start working on that aspect of ourselves, and then we'll be seeing the results that we all deserve. Okay, until the next time.